So 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna assume you clapped.
I did. Did you not pick it up?
All right. No, whatever.
I think it picked it up.
I'll
My
do my
OBS picked it
best.
up.
All right, good enough. All right, here we go. Flying High, episode 6. How you feel, Benny?
I feel good. I feel like we took a little bit of a break. Some
Yeah, we
things were
did.
happening.
We're lazy.
Well, work for me got a little
So,
busy, and I know you had some stuff.
yeah. Oh, I had some stuff. Will you, well, tomorrow's Veterans Day. You're a veteran. Do you
Don't.
do anything? Do you celebrate?
I always go get free food. It used to be there's some guys at work I'd always go eat with, but like they've come and gone now, so I don't really have anybody to go with. But I always go. I actually always go to the BJ's down here in Burbank because they have some really good free
What?
food.
BJ's what?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. BJ's does.
I've never.
They do a bunch of stuff for Veterans Day. They have like a whole bunch of. They have like a pretty good menu. But I can go to like other places. I just like when we were active duty. We used to go to like 4 or 5 different restaurants for dinner, and we'd eat until we exploded.
I've never even been to BJ's. Like, there are not any BJ's around here.
It's some pretty good.
There's so much shit, I swear to God, is not fucking here. I have no idea why.
It's
Like,
crazy.
I've never been to Jack in the Box,
But,
Cold Stone Creamery.
well, Jack in the Box is an out here thing, I think, because they didn't have Jack in Virginia.
We don't have In N Out Burger. That's a West Coast thing, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
What else? There's a bunch of shit we don't have. There is Sonic, but they're few and far between.
Sonic was a staple growing up
And I mean,
for me.
yeah, I've only had Sonic once, and
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's
I
it's faster than anything
didn't
else, but it
hate
was.
it.
I lived in a one horse town. We had A&W, Sonic, McDonald's, Hardee's, KFC. That was
We
it.
did have, we do have an A&W.
I love A&W. Miss
We
A&W. The nearest one, I gotta
we
go up
don't
to
have
Bakersfield.
we don't have Hardee's or Carl's Juniors.
Yeah, same thing.
So I mean,
Nothing special.
I'm basically in Canada, so we do have Tim Hortons.
Oh, I love me some Tim's. There
But
was a Tim's on the
yeah,
naval
there's
base
so
in Virginia, which was really cool.
what what's that? Kroger's.
The grocery store?
Those just don't exist here. Yeah, like they're everywhere, but New York apparently.
Well,
I've never seen a Kroger's.
I mean, they're the same chain. You've seen Ralph's. They're all part of that same chain.
No, we have Wegmans.
That's Wegmans.
Yeah, that's like the big grocery
Wegmans.
store where like they have restaurants and shit inside.
They're founded
I think
in New
that's
York.
yeah, I think that's like a New York only thing. So it's like other businesses like it just don't come here. But
Yeah,
anyways, how'd your research project go? Who killed Tupac?
man. We're never.
Did they get the right guy?
They got the guy involved, but my thing. I don't know if we're ever gonna really know. Like, I think at this point we're never gonna know.
Well, I
I
mean,
mean,
who do we know was there? We knew we know well, obviously Tupac was there cuz he died. Wasn't
well,
Suge Knight driving the car that Tupac was shot in?
was he?
I think Suge
No.
Knight was driving. Or am I wrong?
I
Well,
thought
we know Snoop Dogg's clear. He had an alibi the night.
yeah, so yeah, you're right. Suge Knight was driving. I think well there were implications about Snoop, but I'm like, really? He's really gonna get in this? No. Um
Well, I saw something I never saw before. Snoop Dogg and Tupac were on, I think, Soja's private plane while Tupac was heading to Las Vegas, and Tupac refused to talk to Snoop Dogg because Snoop had just said in an interview that he would like to do music with uh, Biggie and Diddy. And before
oh
that, they were
yeah.
friends, but then after that interview came out, Tupac refused to talk to him. And that was the last time they had ever saw each other. Because after that, Tupac went to Vegas and never came back.
Well, they yeah. I
So
don't
what was the guy's name again who they arrested? What was
Keith
or
D.
implicated in the murder?
They arrested Keith D
Yes.
as being an accomplice, but I don't
Oh, so they don't think he pulled the trigger.
know. Um, but they arrested him as being an accomplice, and I mean, I don't. This is one of those things I don't think we're gonna find out who killed him, but uh, it's gotta be something involved with um Diddy and Bad Boy Records. Like,
Do you think that Biggie was involved at all?
I don't know if Biggie was involved, but I know Biggie was revenge. I'm like 99% sure that it was. I mean,
I
it can't not
I
be.
think I think more than likely, I don't know if he was the one who did it, but I think definitely more than likely it was Diddy who put the hit out.
Yeah,
I
I think so.
My question comes with, did Biggie know that Diddy did that, or did he just like do it? That's what I always kind of wondered. Is like, because I don't know if Biggie would have actually done anything. Like, I don't think that Biggie would have put a hit out on Pac, but
No, I don't think
I
Biggie
also
was that
don't.
kind of person.
Yeah, but I don't know if he would, like, if he knew that Diddy did it and if he would have done anything to stop it or anything.
Would he have just turned? Would he have just like ignored it? Right? Like he knew it was happening, and he was like took the passive way out and just didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, at some, if it was Diddy, I think Biggie would have known at some point that it was Diddy. I honestly, I think Diddy probably would have told him outright, like, yeah, I was the one who did it. But I don't know that Biggie knew before Pac actually died. And there was an interview with Biggie. Um, he said when he heard that Pac was shot, he said that his reaction was just, "Oh, again." Like, he didn't think that he was shot and killed.
Yeah.
Like, he thought he was just like shot and was, gonna pull through it again because he'd been shot a million times before and always pulled through. But he didn't know that he actually died that time.
I think
So I've always wondered.
I think most likely it started with Diddy, and it was a I want this guy to pay, and he hired out of towners probably. I mean, I would have hired out of towners and been like take care of it, and then leave, and then never come back. And that's why I think we're never gonna find out who really did it. I mean, do I think Diddy was involved? Greatly, but as far as the Triggermen, never gonna know.
What do you think? What about Biggie though? Do they have any inclination on who that might have been?
I think it's the same thing. I
I
think
mean,
they're
I
both essentially the same in that regard. And I think Biggie was revenge. I
did
can't.
you ever look into the theory that the same person killed both of them?
I haven't come across that.
Because I know that was being thrown around a little while ago, but it was like I think it was on a History Channel documentary. So like you know, History Channel nowadays is extremely unreliable.
Yeah, it's filled with a lot of conspiracy
But I remember that
theories.
was like a yeah, I remember that was a theory they were throwing around. But I would think that I mean I think Biggie would have to be revenge.
Yeah,
And I mean if you look at I think we touched on this last time. Tupac kind of cared a lot more than Biggie did. Like, neither of them liked each other, but for Biggie, it was just kind of like, he doesn't like me, whatever.
yeah.
Tupac was entirely obsessed with it because after Tupac had initially been shot and when he was put in jail, someone told him that it was one of Biggie's boys who did it. So, like, after that, Tupac just became, like, completely obsessed and hated Biggie to no end.
Well, let's then take. We could also go down that route. What if, what if this was a preemptive thing, right?
Oh, like,
What if Tupac was it was to prevent his resentment from like to prevent him from lashing out first. Maybe I don't know the
even still, I don't think that would be something that Biggie would have done.
I know I agree
Like,
a hundred
as
percent.
weird as
Well, hindsight's
as
2020.
weird as
We
it
know that he
seems,
wouldn't have, right? Like we almost know, pretty much know.
yeah, yeah.
But what if you're
Diddy, on the other hand, would. So,
fucking apparently. I honestly think that he was involved, and like I said, there's so many ways to distance yourself from the event that happened, right? Like
so
there's
from what you've seen, do you think Diddy was there though? Do you think Diddy was in the other car when the Triggermen killed Tupac?
we can't know, but I would almost guess no.
So you think he just
I would, I would from a standpoint of someone who knows a little bit about the law and a little bit about how things work. The smart answer is no, but nothing about this was
so
smart,
I
right?
would
Like
retort your point about having an out of towner do it though with the fact that it's not just some average turf war and some random
yeah.
guy. You're killing Tupac Shakur. An out of towner, I don't think would ever do that. Like that is a high profile target. Like
And
you're getting really deep if you're killing Tupac.
that's true. And Tupac is not a like Tupac was a great man. Like I mean he like you're not very few people would have wanted anything to happen to him, honestly. Like he's Tupac.
Yeah, he was.
He's
Yeah, he was. The way a lot of people describe it is he was a good man with a lot of demons.
yeah.
and I think that's kind of how, sometimes Biggie was seen too, but I think I mean also you gotta think Biggie also had the point of he was also always trying to protect his daughter too.
Hmm.
So I mean there's another layer there too entirely that I don't think that he would have done anything to, potentially put himself in danger, and especially not anything that could inadvertently put his daughter in danger too. So I
Yeah, that's true.
it feels so weird that they made an arrest and just, or well, did they arrest him or did they just like,
They did arrest and detain that guy. Keith D. I don't really know much about Keith D, but I'm pretty sure he was arrested. He was investigated. Yeah, because they had a warrant to search his house, I think, or something like that, and then they
what
arrested
are
him and
they
took him
gonna
to
find
trial.
in his house 25 years later?
Who knows?
So basically we're
So
no
so he
closer to
says
knowing who
so he
actually did
says
it.
so his thing was he confessed to having a role in killing Tupac Shakur because he was dying of cancer. Said he was a passenger of the white Cadillac on the incident. He refused to name other suspects in the car, but confirmed the shooter was Orlando Anderson, which Orlando Anderson was killed years ago in gang warfare. Gangs, I don't know.
so
He's
since they
a
can't so
it,
since they can't do anything with Orlando, they're doing it with him.
I that's what I don't know.
Hmm.
But he says it was out of retaliation for getting jumped at the MGM Grand earlier, and the $1 million bounty by Diddy.
Wait, he's saying that he got jumped by Tupac?
It was so Anderson did it. Orlando Anderson did it because of the fight he had with Tupac at the MGM Grand. Um, earlier that year, I believe.
Okay, I
So
guess that
that
makes
so
sense.
that's what Keith D said. Now, Orlando Anderson was killed in '98 in a gang shootout. So if all this is true,
So,
right, it's essentially a story where there can be no follow up. It's done. It's a closed case.
yeah.
It's
Well,
uh
so Tupac was 96,
yeah. The fight was
Biggie was
earlier in
97,
'96.
and then
So
this
then
guy will have been 98.
'98, yeah.
Okay. So I was um I watched a video on Snoop Dogg and all the stuff that went down with him around that time. And I actually never knew this. Snoop Dogg was on trial for murder, right?
Yeah.
I never knew that he wasn't the one who pulled the trigger.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why he didn't get. I don't know much about that case, but I know he didn't do it.
yeah, so basically basically what happened was I forgot who it was, but it was someone was approaching him with a gun, and it was, I believe, Snoop Dogg's, like, I wouldn't call him necessarily bodyguard, but someone shot and killed the guy.
Yeah.
And Snoop Dogg felt so guilty that he went and turned himself in. But since he wasn't the one who pulled the trigger, he wasn't charged. And
Yeah.
after that happened, he felt like such overwhelming guilt that he just like tried to leave completely, and like he didn't want any involvement in with anything. He just wanted a clean slate, and that's part of what drove the wedge between him and Suge Knight and Tupac, because he just wanted a clean slate and just wanted to make music at that point. You know, he didn't want any involvement with any of that stuff anymore. And so after that, this when he kind of turned his life around,
Yeah.
and that was part of the reason that Tupac refused to talk to him the last time they saw each other.
Oh.
And he actually said that when they were on the plane, he went to the back of the plane and grabbed a knife and a fork and hid under a blanket, just in case Tupac or Suge Knight tried anything. So, like, there's a lot of layers even with the Snoop Dogg story in that.
Yeah,
So it's not like
there's one I guess I
it's
didn't
not necessarily
realize.
connected to Tupac, but to the murder at least. But it was an interesting part of the story that I'd never heard before. I never knew that. I knew that Snoop Dogg and Tupac were close, but I never knew right before he died that drove like a huge wedge between them. And it's kind of, I mean, it's something that Snoop Dogg has never forgotten, because I mean they were like brothers, and then
And there was no chance to
uh
there's no chance to renew that friendship. So can you
right,
imagine
because the
like
last time he saw him, he gave him the cold shoulder, and you know, no one knew that Tupac was gonna die when he went to Las Vegas.
yeah.
So I mean, like I said, even in that interview, like Biggie said, you know, it was expected that Tupac would be shot, but no one ever expected him to die.
Yeah, cuz I
Like
mean
he was a tough dude. He got shot and would always pull through.
yeah. And I mean that's just how violence that's how the world was then, you know?
Yeah, it
It
was a
was
completely different scene. I mean, you know, nowadays, um, you know,
nowadays that kind of
it's just a
violence
completely
isn't
different landscape,
yeah.
and uh, it's all like, you know, back then, all these people, you know, came from impoverished communities and had a talent that helped them dig their way out of that. But they were also involved with, you know, all the gang violence and stuff like that too. And I guess that's just not as prevalent nowadays as it was back then. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah, that's why I said I don't know if we're ever gonna get to the bottom of it, but I think we can within a reasonable doubt lay out what happened and why it happened.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
I
unfortunate. I
think
mean, it's. Can you imagine if it never would have happened and Tupac and Biggie were here today? I mean, can you imagine how huge they'd be?
yeah, it would be a completely different landscape than it is now.
Yeah,
I mean, it sent shockwaves through the entire community. I mean, like Biggie and Tupac, you know, they're not just famous because they were murdered.
yeah, they're famous
Like
for who they were. Yeah,
they were both at the top of their games when they died. Like they were the kings of the hip hop community at the time. So that's why it was such a big deal. So, anywho, you got any topics you wanted to hit?
Um. So in the gaming side of the world, have you seen what's been going on with Destiny and Bungie? I think I've talked about it a little bit.
No, I don't know. Has the Microsoft Activision thing affected that at all?
So here's the thing. So some things happen in sequence, right? So Destiny, the Bungie studio that owns Destiny and used to own Halo, uh, had some issues meeting projected profits, right? And projected profits is a key word, key phrase here. So they ended up going through a bunch of layoffs, right? They laid off a lot of their senior staff members that weren't. They didn't really lay off anybody that was in development or production, but like they laid off what's his name? The composer. Um,
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name right now.
can't remember his name. He
Yeah,
did.
that was big. People were fucking pissed.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And they say the layoffs were due to Bungie or Destiny 2 underperforming, and I'm like, it's it sounds like they were blaming us, right, for all these layoffs and for all this stuff, and people were understandably upset. I know there's a big push for people to uninstall the game. There's a big push for people to refund their pre-orders for the new expansion, the Final Shape. Like it's not been a good thing, and so this is going on, right? The Final Shape's delayed. Their new game Marathon is delayed, right? They're going through some issues. Well, like a week after this happened, BlizzCon went on, right? And I think Blizzard nailed everything they could possibly do. Like they were extremely transparent and they were hyped for what was coming. The content that they're promising is amazing, right? Like they came into BlizzCon to win. And they gained a lot of faith, and a lot of people I think are looking back on them and now being like, "Hey, look, this is going on." They're talking these improvements. They're talking, the future of their games. They're laying out their game plan of what they want to do. Like things are looking good, and I want to think part of that was because they had a chance to look really good in an industry where there's a lot of negative light in a lot of studios. Um,
Like kind of by comparison, they look good because everyone else looks bad.
yeah, and there was I can't remember if it was like an interview, um, but Phil Spencer, no, essentially told Activision and Blizzard that they want them to act more like an independent studio, like they were, right? They're not going to be as micromanaged. Well, Blizzard as they were under Activision's thumb, right? Like they want them to focus on making games and doing the things they need to do and making things great. And I'm excited because they finally have a parent company that if they if they need money to develop things, if they need time, if they need people, if they need resources, Microsoft is ginormous. They can provide these things. Um, they have a little bit of room for creativity. They have a little bit of room to make their games great again. And I hate that saying, but they have some creative freedom, and I think it's only going to be a good thing. Um, because I mean they're showing
Well,
they're
is it
doing
entirely a good thing though?
the other thing.
Because don't forget, I I mean, yes, we are getting, this was technically before, but also let's not forget that they just charged us $70 for a fucking DLC.
Remember though, they weren't Microsoft at that point, and that was Activision.
But how much? I'm wondering with
And
a
they should all
company
be
like
drug out.
Activision
They should all be
though.
drug out of the back and sent the way of Old Yeller for that. No, that's there's no excuse for that for Modern Warfare 3.
But that's where my question comes though is how I mean Activision is just monumental. Like there's so many things under Activision's, little wings. So I just wonder how much is Microsoft actually going to change?
I
Because I
don't
mean,
I don't know. See, and
Activision's
that
there.
oh,
They've
sorry.
got their whole business plan laid out. They've got their own mission, and I mean it's worked. You know, it's like
Right.
it's
They
bad
made
pain
money.
for the gaming
People
community,
bought. Yeah.
but they're doing what they need to make money. Do we really think Microsoft's going to step in and stop that? Or is Microsoft just going to reap the benefits of now having Activision
Well,
uh, being under them?
I think you are correct in that sense. I think that the same things that are going to make the Blizzard side good in terms of that are also going to make Activision do the same old things Activision always did. Um, I think there'll be less pressure to. I mean, there'll be more pressure to create things that are good and still make money than just to make money. But I don't think it's going to stop Activision from being Activision, right? Like I think if you have one if you have one part of the company improving doing it, you're gonna have the whole company doing it.
I
So I
do
don't
wonder
I
if
don't see a lot
Activision.
of. I don't know about the future Call of Duty. I know the future of Blizzard looks good, but you know,
So I am wondering if Activision is starting to feel a little bit of pressure, though, just because, like we went over before, this was Treyarch's year. This was supposed to be their Call of Duty game, presumably a Black Ops game, like they always do now.
right?
But they told Activision that they needed more time, and they got it,
Right.
which is bad for Call of Duty 2023. But that can potentially be good moving forward because their other option was releasing a game that was bad, a Treyarch game that was bad. Instead, they just handed it over a sledgehammer and they're like, "Here, you make a bad game instead, and we'll give Treyarch the time they need to make a good, well polished game."
Yeah. Well, I think.
So it's in this weird limbo right now of the they they felt the compulsive need to put out a Call of Duty game this year, but they also gave Treyarch the time they needed to make a better game.
Yeah. Would you agree that they should not have released a Call of Duty game this year? If this is the case?
Oh, I said that from the start.
Yeah.
I, th- I honestly, I think that they should have done what they were going to do to begin with and release Modern Warfare 3 as a DLC for Modern Warfare 2. I mean, they could have milked Modern Warfare 2 for another year. They would have
Oh
had
yeah.
no problem doing that whatsoever.
And we would have bought it. We would have played it and bought everything for it, right? Like it would have been good.
I mean, even with like the new shitty zombies, like I mean, I think we're at a point now where I think people are willing to wait for a good game rather than, something just thrown together.
Yeah, rather than just buying
I
the
mean,
next one.
maybe 10 years ago that wasn't exactly the same. I mean, I think people were, always expecting the next game like Clockwork and, minimal improvements and all that kind of stuff. But I think we live in a time now where, people would much rather buy, a game that's taken time to be, had some extra time in the oven and,
Yeah,
is ready to play. And I think actually a pretty good testament to that is Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed used to be a yearly game, and I mean, now that they've actually, took some time with Mirage, the damage done by the previous titles, has
Hmm.
taken Assassin's Creed to a place where it's never going to recover from that. But the fact that they actually took their time with Mirage and did what they needed to with it, I mean, pe- people like Mirage as it stands. Some old fans of the series have returned, and so I think we could have had Mirage released a year after uh, Valhalla, but they took their time and made a brand new game and made it in a way that people like it. So
Right. I I go back and I used to think like games like it used to be sequels were better. Like when I really got into gaming, I played a lot in the early to mid late 2000s. That's when I was huge in a lot of stuff. Then I joined the Navy and it became more just a kind of hobby. But like you expected game sequels to be better, right? You expected them to be a continuation of the game and to be better and to be the new hotness. And that's gone away with a lot of these. Oh, we're releasing a game every year, every 2 years, every 3 years, right? Like, I don't want to hear we're releasing a game every 3 years. I want to hear we're releasing the next one when it's ready and it's going to be better than the other one, right? Like, sequels being worse than the first game used to be rare, right? At worst, they were just as good, or they were like, yeah, I played it, it was fun, okay. It wasn't a this game is
I
garbage kind of thing.
I mean, I also think though that every time a game is delayed, the company gets roasted,
That's true.
and they want to avoid that. Like, think of Cyberpunk.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
how many freaking years was Cyberpunk delayed, and people fucking blaze CD Project Red for it.
And then they released it, and they're
So,
like, they're like, this is the hotness, which I loved.
well,
Well, it
I mean,
became it
people,
became the hotness. Okay, it became the
yeah,
hotness, and then
yeah.
they
Then when they
released
actually
Phantom
released it, people are
Liberty.
like, when it initially released, people were like, "Oh, they released an unfinished game," and I was like, "Well, they kind of delayed it a lot."
I noticed too
I mean,
that
it's better
nowadays
than it would have been.
people pick apart games. Like if a game has a
Well,
couple of
people pick apart
issues,
everything.
well, it always seemed like if a game had a couple issues in the past, it was like, oh well, these were some issues, but you still play the games, it was fun. But now it's like this game is horrible and unplayable because X, and I'm like when Cyberpunk released it, people were like, there's all these bugs in it, right? I played it through and encountered none of them, no bugs, right? They're like, oh, this T poses, oh, this happens, this happens. I'm like, I didn't see any of that. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't replicate your error, right? Like, um, but people take that and they run with it, and it's like the end all be all. Oh, there's a
I think it's
bug.
exaggerated
It's
too.
yeah.
Like, I mean, saying that there's a glitch or a bug has a lot of meaning. Like like I don't know why the hell I keep going back to Assassin's Creed, but when Unity released, people said it was really buggy, which it was, but it depends on your definition of a bug. I mean, did I encounter any game breaking bugs while I played? No, but did I experience models occasionally glitching out and finding faceless NPCs? Yes, but those weren't things that really ruined the experience for me. So I mean, you can say a game is really buggy like Unity, and yeah, it was, but was there anything really game breaking? Not that I experienced.
Hmm.
But people aren't going to go in depth of, oh, this is the bug, this is what happened, this is why it happened, this is why it's bad. They're not going to say that. They're just going to say, oh, it's a buggy game. And then the big bugs are going to stand out, when somebody releases, a video of all the models, all the NPCs T posing all at once. And so that reflects the game as a whole.
Hmm. Yeah. It always seemed like I guess I'm just being old now, but like, social media wasn't as big a thing too back then. You couldn't go look at all these reviews. You couldn't see
Yeah,
all these.
yeah, and I mean, people are always gonna parrot what they see on social media, anyways.
Yeah.
Somebody says, "Oh, I had bugs," and that's like, well, I had bugs too, but it's on a completely different level sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, Bang, you ready? You ready for me to take you on a fucking ride?
A ride.
Yeah, we're going hog wild.
I'm concerned, but let's go.
What do you know about the SS Sniper Wolf and Jack's film situation?
Didn't okay. The only thing I know is she doxed somebody. I don't know anything more than that.
All right, so I've had my finger on the fucking pulse of this.
Oh my god.
So, all right, so big YouTuber, shit stained Sniper Wolf.
Right.
She
Shit changed that rule. I love it.
has taken she her content now is literally TikTok.
Okay.
So she does reactions to TikTok, and literally the reactions are, "Oh my god, bro, that's so crazy," which is
Okay.
nothing transformative. And so she basically just freeboots content without adding anything to it and doesn't credit the original creators.
Okay.
So, channel Jack's Films started critiquing her content and, saying it's not transformative and all that kind of shit. And he was doing what she wasn't doing by crediting the creators of the TikToks and videos that she was reacting to.
Okay.
And like he even made like a whole nother channel for it, and he would play SS Sniper Wolf Bingo, where he'd have like a bingo card of things that he knows she's gonna say during the video and like check it off, and he'd do it on stream and stuff.
Right.
And that made Schutzstaffel Sniper Wolf a little angry. So she had she was doing some sort of shoot, and she posted on her Instagram, "Jack's Films lives 5 minutes away from my shoot," and said something like, "Should I go pay him a visit or something?" And then she went to his house and took a picture of it and posted it on her Instagram story and said, "Let's talk this out like adults."
No, that's
And
no.
Jack's Films was actually like streaming at the time, and I think he was playing a game with some friends or something. They're like, "Yo, Sniper Wolf just took a fucking picture of your house and put it online." And I mean, we live in a time now where people can find fucking anything. She didn't post the address or anything, but it's not hard to figure out where that house was if somebody wanted to find that out.
You just Google Maps and or Google Earth and look.
Yeah, exactly. Which is
Probably what happened.
basically what people did.
Yeah.
And then she goes and says, like, "Oh, well, it's okay because I didn't dox him. I don't even know how to dox him. I just found his address online and went to his
So
house."
that's you doxed him. That's exactly the definition of doxing.
Well, no, because she doesn't know how to dox, so that's okay.
Oh my god.
It's like if I stab someone in the throat and they die, I'm okay because I didn't technically know how to murder them. I just did
You
it.
just did the thing. You
If
just
I
did
don't
the
know
thing.
how to, yeah, it's just water under the bridge. So yeah, that That made
Wow.
Jack's Films a little concerned for his safety, because which I don't even understand. I mean, you know, Sniper Wolf's fans are known to be completely rational. None of them would ever do anything crazy for her. So, he's blowing it out of proportion. It's all him. And so things went with a lot of silence from YouTube, which is not good because she broke YouTube's terms of service because there is a clause in their TOS that things that happen off platform on other platforms or in real life can lead to punishments from YouTube
Mhm.
in account to your channel. And the Sniper Wolf also treated this like a complete joke because she like posted a picture with her sister uh during all this, and she's like, "Oh, what would you do if we rolled up to your house?" So she wasn't taking it seriously when she literally fucking doxed Jack's Films. And so a lot of creators obviously were very, you know, disturbed by what she did and wanted YouTube to take action. So people started making videos on her. And obviously, when you're in the spotlight in such a negative way, other things about you are going to come out.
Mhm.
And some pretty, like, gross shit came out about her. Like, actual fucked up shit. Like, I think it was back in 2014. She did a video, an Omegle video, and she got randomly matched with uh, a you know I want to say young boy, but yeah, it was a minor,
Oh man.
so under the age of 18, and she told him that if he twerked for her, she would show him her tits. So she asked an actual fucking minor to do a sexual act and exchange she would show him, her boobies.
I can't believe this. This is
And it
unreal.
was yeah, and it was like so fucked. Like his mother walked in while it was going down, and like she posted the video like fucking proud of it basically. And then someone dug up another video that was very similar where she asked another girl who I believe the girl told her she was 16 and asked the girl to flash her, and then she also flashed the girl. So she has like two actual fucking crimes with minors. And obviously, like once these videos surfaced, she scripted through her feed and deleted them. And through all of this, YouTube was completely silent, and she kind of was too, because obviously her biggest platform is YouTube,
Right.
and she never addressed it on YouTube. It never came up at all. She just kept posting the same content that she was posting. And it was about a week removed from when everything started. She issued her quote unquote apology in which she didn't even say Jack's Film's name right in the apology. She misspelled it twice. I literally I feel like her apology literally, I feel like she like trained a fucking bot with bad YouTuber apologies and just like put it in Chat GPT and told it to spit something
Yeah.
out. Because she literally had the Logan Paul apology quote of the lapse in my judgment. And so through all of this, she put out her apology, and within like 10 minutes of this apology going up, YouTube issued a statement about it, which is very, very suspicious.
Yeah.
Because I'm a I'm not a lawyer, but that sounds like this was premeditated. Like she had a conversation with somebody, and they kind of worked some shit out so that these would drop around the same time.
I wonder too if it was part of it was because there was an admission of guilt, and like YouTube therefore had to acknowledge that this happened. Like they couldn't
Yeah,
ignore
but
it.
YouTube could never have come. Yeah, but YouTube could have never come up with a statement that fast.
That's true.
I mean, this was in under an hour that they released a statement about it. So I mean, I think the admission of guilt is, I think that is a fair statement,
But there's more to it.
but
Is
it
what you're
all,
saying.
yeah, it also had to have been, you know, they had to have collaborated in some way to have done that. So YouTube came
Wow.
out with their statement and said that they know the situation and what's been going down, and they would like things to cease on both sides. So they're fucking blaming Jack's Films for have being doxxed by Sniper Wolf.
What the fuck?
And the you know so Sniper Wolf did get punished for all of this, and her channel has been indefinitely demonetized, which could mean anything. That could mean that it could mean they put her channel back up in 2 hours. It means they could
Right.
remonetize her channel in 2 years.
It definitely
Like
doesn't
it could
really
mean
mean
anything at
anything.
all. And here's where things get real wacky and wild, and
There's
kind of where
more?
we've left off. Oh yeah, there's more. So Senior Sloth Sniper Wolf, Sniper Wolf is demonetized, and I think at the time that we're recording this, I think she still is.
Oh
But
my god.
she has made a second channel, and she's re-uploading some of her old videos onto that channel, and it is fully monetized, which is another thing that is against YouTube's terms of service. If your channel has been demonetized, you can't make another channel and monetize it. And it's not like YouTube doesn't review this. Like, they know it's her, they know she's doing it. Like, why are they fucking allowing her to just break the rules? It's so fucking insane. I think the Act Man kind of put it the best way. He made a video on it, and he said that obviously the reason that YouTube has been as hands off about it as they are is because of how much money Sniper Wolf makes them. And he said, YouTube is Google. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. So the money the Sniper Wolf makes might just be a drop in the bucket, but it's still a big drop and that's why they're not really involving themselves.
It's still,
And
it's
that's
still
basically where we've left off.
ridiculous.
The part that I don't understand is them just like letting her break the rules. Like they know what she's doing. She knows what she's doing, and she's just getting away with it. It's like it's such a bad look for YouTube. I don't know why they're allowing it. And like every creator has like all big creators have made a video on it. I mean, like there it's been everywhere and literally nobody is on her side except for YouTube it seems.
And yeah,
So yeah,
it's,
that's
I
that's where we're at
can't.
currently with that situation. I mean, Jax Films is like terrified at this point. I mean, rightly so.
Yeah.
I mean, his address is out there. Like he's considered moving because you you don't know who's gonna get that information. Like she could have some crazy fucking fan out there who has some sort of parasocial love for her and thinks that if he goes and you know
I
kills Jack Films or whatever that he'll like win her favor. Like it could be anything that could happen. I mean, like we can't pretend that she doesn't have crazy simps out there. And it's also not like it's something that she doesn't acknowledge could happen because she made a video a few years ago about a stalker she had. So I mean, she knows that putting this information out there is extremely dangerous because she's experienced it herself. She's had someone who has found, where she lives and that kind of stuff, with less information than what she put out about Jack's Films himself.
mm, that's just
So
crazy. I can't.
it's just hard to wrap your head around, really. But I guess people are, you know, I think at this point, YouTube and Sniper Wolf are kind of biding their time, waiting for this whole thing to die down. And I think that's probably just where it's going to leave is people are going to stop talking about it, and once people do, they're gonna reinstate monetization on her channel, and things will go from there.
Crazy.
So after once everything's died down, it's gonna be business as usual, and people are just gonna forget about it because that's how things go nowadays. But that's all
Yeah.
that's picky at my brain tonight. You got anything else?
Nah, not really. I want to
All
see. I
right.
want to see what happens in some industries and stuff. Apparently, I don't really have any info on it, but a big thing that did happen was there. I guess there's a proposal to end the Screen Actors Guild strike. They had come to like some terms. I got to read more into it. I'll have more info on that uh, next time, but apparently that might be coming to an end. So, which is good for everybody.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I don't really have anything.
So so the s-
The actors
so
are
the
still on
strike's
strike.
over, and there's
The
yeah
writers
the
are done with. The actors are still on strike.
the writers are done, the actors are still on strike, which
Yeah. And they might have come to
is
terms. Like I saw
weird
some of the
because
terms, like they look really good. Um, I think they still have to vote on them.
that was kind of weird to me though. I mean, I understand the writers going on strike, but I mean, don't the actors get a lot of money?
Not so. As a poor facilities worker, they do get kind of a lot of money, but it's not like it's not a ton. And part of the thing that sucks for them is they don't work year round. So maybe they make a little bit more money, but they also go through months of not working. So, but they makes that
Hmm.
last. I'm not sure. I could read more into it, but I'm not well versed in it. I just know that it's been holding up like those two groups striking has been holding up a lot of stuff in the entertainment industry. And if we finally get to the
Hmm.
end of it, it's good. It's good for, and especially because I live in LA, so like, um,
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
it's
have a
gonna be
ton of
business
friends
as
who
usual in
are
California.
like my roommate does. I don't know if you ever seen it, but like when they do filming, they send people out to like contact all the businesses and all the people, being like, hey, we're gonna be filming here, or hey, we need to stage vehicles here, on the street and stuff. So they send people out to do that. Well, that's what she used to do, and but she hasn't done that in so long because they haven't been filming. And her boyfriend does rigging, and he hasn't been doing a lot of that either. So they've both been
Hmm.
affected. But it's been a little
Well,
crazy,
I'd
but
have to think that now that the writers' strike is over, that the actor strike would have to be coming to a close.
yeah. There's more effort to be put. Like one now that part of it's done, taken care of, they can put more effort on getting the other side done.
Right, and it's kind of a thing. It's like, at the time they were kind of shit out of luck because both of them were on strike.
Yeah.
But now it puts a lot of pressure on now that one's not striking. You know, you still can't do anything, but there is an integral part of that machine that's back in place. So, you gotta do what you can to get it moving again. Uh, Now that part of it has been fixed.
Hmm.
So, hopefully, we'll see the end of that soon and get more shitty Netflix productions.
Oh yeah.
But, anyways, that's all for me. Got
It's
any
all for
last
me.
words, Benny?
No, until next time.
All right, that's it then.
All right,
We're done.
we're done.
That's over. Say bye, Benny.
See you. Till next time.
Toodles.
Toodles.